For you, the president.
That's Not Why You Called. Hosted by Lefty.
I deserve to be blown.
Dr. Chiz.
One more chance.
Thursdays, 7 p.m. Central. It's That's Not Why You Called.
And here we go.
Chiz, I get nothing out of you. Usually coming out of the, you do
I was
this.
sending a tweet. I was sending the tweet to
Killing
the
me.
screen.
I didn't screw up the intro. Yeah, unprofessional. Show over. That's it. Thank you, everybody. We got to get out of here. Appreciate likes and favorites as always. Is that our new sponsor?
Sponsored by Wales.
What the hell are what
Whales.
What are
That's
those?
like Walmart
the-
version of
No, these are
goldfish.
dollar store version of
Oh.
goldfish. All right.
Oh,
don't
really?
insult
Oh,
Walmart
so
like that.
whale. I get. Okay, that makes a lot. That's okay. All right, that's fine.
Whales.
They're not smoky barbecue, but they're still good.
Smoky barbecue wheat thins. That's what we need.
Yep,
Who
for
makes
hot
these?
Cheetos.
Who makes these sons of bitches? Nabisco, send us money. You now owe us for
Got Cheetos.
stuff. Anyway, welcome all of you to That's Not Why You Called, episode 14, occurring. I got the date right, August 15th, 2013. Chiz, thankfully, let me know.
We're not doing this in the past.
Yeah, I definitely got caught copy
Hey,
pasting
toolbar
titles.
was added. Thank you, Katie.
Oh,
No
really?
problem.
Is Katie going to play
Alright.
sound bites?
No.
So many.
See,
That's
she
a
could have added it before the show started, but she didn't because she was
No.
busy stuffing her face with steak.
I was
And now I'm hungry. And now, right, and I'm pissed, not
Well, maybe
because
you
you were
can-
eating and being unprofessional, because this show is nothing if not totally professional 100% of the time.
Hey, there are people out there that agree. We are professional.
And they hold us to
Legit.
that standard, and they're angry
Yeah.
or not, yeah.
Attendance is professionalism. We've showed up.
We've showed up. That's like, what, 99% of life? What are those cliche terms? 99% of life is showing up. Right? What's that crappy baseball movie with Keanu Reeves? Yeah, it's a piece of shit. I've never seen it, but it sucks.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Hardball, I think it's called. Everybody loves it. It's a universally loved movie. People are like, oh my God, Hardball. One of the kids frickin' dies. There. Saved you 2 hours.
Wow. You
Never
even
heard
say
of it, so-
spoiler alert.
Yeah, you don't even
I
get a
really
spoiler
wanted
alert
to
for that.
watch it.
No. I just,
looking forward to it.
everybody's, it's up there with The Godfather in terms of if you haven't seen it, you're a gigantic douche.
I'm a gigantic douche then.
Well, we needed your
Yeah,
lack
like
of
the movie was the qualifier.
right.
to
That's the
emphasize I was a
pushover.
douche.
That's the tipping point at which
I was on the fence
just kind of
before.
a bad guy. Now you're a douche because you've never seen
Mm-hmm.
Hardball. But yeah, it's one of those movies. Anyway, I'm your host Lefty as we try to get through the propers on this
Who's that?
awfully professionally show. Professional. Damn it! I'm your host Lefty. I appreciate, as always, everybody that likes the stream, likes the video, VOD. I love seeing the roll of likes on my Twitter feed. It does help the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Across the way is our host, Dr. Chiz. You can follow him at Dr. Chiz on Twitter. You can also find a link to his streaming page in the description, twitch.tv. Is it Dr. Chiz or Dr. Coffee MD? Is it twitch.tv/Dr. Chiz? Damn, Doctor.
Talking.
Katie, Twitter on the description. Katie is the producer.
You sound exactly like my character in Payday.
Katie, you're laughing. You don't even know what we're talking about. What were you laughing at just there?
What was I laughing at?
Yeah,
I don't even remember.
That was a pity laugh.
that was a pity laugh. That was just I'm laughing because I'm supposed to laugh
Pretty much.
at something.
I'll admit it.
Because you have no idea the joke that we.
Nope. I'm reading stuff. Stop it.
Yes, it does.
Carry on. Proceed.
So, how many things do you laugh at that you don't normally
Yeah.
find funny,
What is
but that you
fake?
just
To
feel?
be honest with you, that's probably like the 4th time I've ever done that.
What other times have you done
The
that?
other
I don't
three
remember.
pieces.
I'm just guessing. Probably around 4.
Do you do that with me regularly?
No. Don't even. No. Stop it.
I is
Don't even know who she is
concerned.
anymore.
No. Oh my God.
Yeah, she got busted fake laughing at stuff. Faker! You're faking things on YouTube, faker!
Phony.
You're a big fat phony.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Katie's our producer that doesn't talk and doesn't play sound bites.
I don't.
And everybody gets mad at
Apparently
her.
fakes laughing.
Yeah. What else do you fake,
Worst of all
Katie?
three.
Really?
Because now I'm worried.
Oh my God.
Now I've
Stop.
planted that thought in my own head.
Oh my
And me no likey.
goodness gracious.
If you want to get in touch with the show, you obviously have the comments in front of you. We greatly encourage you to do that. But also, you can tweet us, hashtag TNWYC on Twitter. Just add that to your tweet. We will be able to read it. # TNWYC. Pound sign.
Pound.
You're doing it. What are you... What is,
Whoa.
it's this, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Put my fingers holding. So there.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Pound.
you've got 4 other digits.
Pound.
Still looks kind
Or
of.
not 4 other. You've got 2 other.
4 other digits.
Counting.
You've added 4 digits.
Yeah, you got 6 fingers. Is that's the dominant gene, right? Is
What?
6 fingers? Humans being born with 6 fingers?
How is it the dominant gene then?
I heard that's I maybe it's just a myth then. That it's
That sounds a lot like a myth.
the dominant form of the gene is, or whatever gene
So,
denotes.
Right.
so every
So you're saying
person
that
has the
having
recessive
normal-
gene.
Right. It's just
Like if a parent somehow passes that gene on, then you're just having it.
it's
There's
not
just
it's
no
not like
getting-
it's not like a finger, it's like just a little nub. There was a pitcher in the major leagues for a while, Antonio Alfonseca. He had a 6th finger.
Oh, he was
But it was
cheating.
No, it was just a little nub. It didn't, it wasn't really anything.
It
So
wasn't functional or anything.
yeah,
He
so
could
Kinda
flip the
creepy.
ball, though.
yeah. No, he
take
could
a
no.
nub
It was just a little nub here, and you hold the baseball, or like in this area of your hand, on one side
But
of the
if
hand.
you're,
You
if
don't,
you're going to throw it and you curve it, though, where your pinky is, that extra finger could add some more backspin to it.
it could. I
He was a
guess.
cheater.
Antonio
Strip him of
Alfonseca,
everything he
cheater.
ever achieved.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Which wasn't all that much. I don't remember. Was Antonio Alfonseca any good? I don't remember.
Yeah.
He was around for a while, but he wasn't. I don't remember him exactly being dominant or the stuff of legends. So
No.
you wouldn't be taking away much from Antonio Alfonseca. I am Antonio
Yeah.
Alfonseca. So, but yeah,
That dude was cool.
we got a lot to talk about this week. A lot of people are tweeting us. They want to hear about us talk about what happened at UMG Atlanta with an or not an MLG team, but a professional Call of Duty team getting in a little bit of hot water and having a short-lived run with a professional team. Also, what else we got on the docket? The Xbox One. No
Stuff.
The Xbox One stuff, and then there's things.
The Xbox One doesn't require the connection.
Professionalism. Yeah.
My mask looks like eyebrows and a mustache.
See, there you didn't pity laugh, Katie,
No,
because you still didn't get the joke. No, it's
No.
just did something stupid. We played Payday 2. That's a perfect segue because we like to start off the show as we always do, talking about what we've been doing on our respective YouTube channels. Chiz and I actually today sat down and played Payday 2, which is out now on Steam. You can go check it out. Payday
Not on
2.
console.
Not right. It's not. Well, it's out on console. You can buy it on console if you can find. Yeah, if you can find physical copies, because I guess Valve publishes that, right? So it would be Valve's. Valve.
Do they?
I would assume so. Valve publishes. I mean, who else?
they?
Well, Overkill is the developer, and Valve, I think, is the publisher. I think it's a.
Google.
Yeah, Katie, if you're not going to play sound bites or talk, Google who published or who is publishing Payday 2 on console. I want to see who's sending that. But yeah, what was the story with that? So there's no physical copies. The release date has come and gone, but there are no physical copies at retail outlets.
Yes. They forgot to ship them.
Did they forget to, or was it?
I think. Don't quote me on that. We're going with it. What other option is there? They didn't print the disc, then they'd be backed up for like a month.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just maybe like a database error. Somebody, they put down the wrong date. They were off by 2 days. Somebody said, well, it's the 13th or the 12th, and then they put down the 14th. Ship by this, or maybe it was as simple as ship by versus ship on.
Maybe,
because I know that's because maybe. Right, you always have that problem with people. It's like on 3. Well, wait a minute. Now, is it on 3? Is it
after 3?
Right? Is it the count after 3? Because you get the cadence. You get 1, 2, 3. Is it as soon as I say 3, or is it 1, 2, 3, push, or whatever? Why should we get pushing example. Something? I don't know.
Okay. The one for me that I don't like is I need this by this certain date. Like I need this by the 15th. It's like, well, do you need it beforehand or do you need it on that day? It's like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like 16th is the cutoff. Well, does that mean if I do it before the 16th, it's the cutoff, or the 16th? You won't take it past the 16th. Where is the gray area? That's where we're at. Language.
Yeah, we need to default as a society to different settings. We need to know if you say, on 3, we need a default setting where you can opt out of either going on 3 or the count after 3. You can opt out of that, but you have to specifically say, no, we are going after we're doing the special one, right? Because we all need to default to, this is the way everybody does it. So let us know in the comments or tweet us #TNWYC what kind of guy you are. Or
I'm coming up with 505 games. I'm seeing
505 games published Payday on console.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's right. I remember seeing that on Reddit.
Well, whoever they are, they fucked up.
Yeah. Well, somebody's gonna get fired.
Probably the guy at the loading dock.
Some low-level guy.
Didn't show up to work that day.
Like, I'm the driver. What do you want from me?
You gotta take the game to the store. I'm tired today. Got to game to the store.
Now, some people are saying you can order a hard copy online, like from Amazon, and you'll get it. But actually walking into a retail shop, you will not be able to find copies of Payday 2.
So, then what? It's something related to a distribution issue?
Well, it's got to be an infrastructure.
If Amazon can do it, then Amazon has their own distribution.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever published it already sent it to Amazon to warehouse. So whoever's at the GameStop, Walmart, etc. warehouse.
It could be the wholesalers.
Yes.
You see, that's not an often talked about medium between
the wholesalers.
Between the publishers and the retailers. Because people think. For instance, since we're going to be talking about Call of Duty Ghosts, that's another topic we got on the docket today, talking about Call of Duty Ghosts reveal. People like Call of Duty every single year. It's a race to see how much money the Call of Duty title can generate in a week, and they multiply the number of sales by, what the average sale price is, usually somewhere around $59.99, and they say, it generated this amount of money, and so a lot of people immediately attribute that amount of money to Activision, but that's not really the case because the retailers don't make very much money.
They don't make that much.
They make a little, not a lot. The wholesalers make about $10 a unit, something like that. They make a good amount of money per unit, and then the publishers get whatever that is. So publishers are probably only taking home about, I don't know, I'm just going to pull a number out of thin air, but that sounds relatively reasonable. Probably
30%.
about 30% of each unit price?
Yeah.
I was going to say 40, but okay. 30% of each unit price. And that's total. That's not profit. That's net. Right. And then because out of that, you got to pay for the stuff. So the games business is a little bit harder than what people like to think. But the advent of digital distribution changes that equation. because no longer you no longer have the overhead of the retailers, which wasn't much overhead in the first place, but still it's a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the wholesalers, or the function of the wholesalers, which is distributing your content, that cost is greatly reduced because all you need now are servers.
Yeah.
To distribute it.
You don't need to hire staff and overhead and all that
You
stuff.
don't got to pay truck. You don't have to pay truck drivers. You don't have to, do anything. All you got to do is just digitally copy the game. You don't have to pay for packaging. Every copy you sell digitally is a copy that you didn't have to pay to have printed, packaged, and shipped. But games still cost on digital.
But that's for digitally, because look at the games that are still around the same price as something you can get in a retail store, as opposed to an indie game, which is way cheaper. It's because it's the same reason why the Xbox Marketplace is still more expensive than a used game at GameStop. It's because they can't give you a huge discount on the digital distribution, because then they're fucking their retailers in that regards. So they can't do that because they're competing against themselves essentially. Until you completely get rid of the retail side of it, you're not going to see things on the Xbox side start to drop their prices. Same goes for Steam, though, too. I mean, Steam, look, they drop. Usually it's $10 cheaper for a PC download over even a disc. A PC disc is still cheaper than what you can get for the console version of it, but it's the same issue because the game's it's multi-platform. Whereas something that's only on PC, is usually way cheaper when it's only there and it's distributed digitally. Payday 2, I don't know why that one is cheaper. That's cheaper across the board. I guess it's just because it doesn't have a solid single player.
No, and it's not. It's very. The thing about Payday is that it's not. It's not particularly story driven. There's not a lot of voice acting, writing, narration, animations. There's not. Are there any cutscenes? I don't think so. I mean, they filmed some live action stuff.
Things.
Yeah.
Transitional.
But and that's it. That's all they do. And Payday is, I don't know how to really describe it, because even a game like Borderlands 2 or Borderlands has a storied component, even though it's multiplayer. There's still, you're still doing stuff. But Payday 2, it's just, here are the levels, here are the objectives.
Well, that's what's interesting, where Titanfall is going to give their price point. I assume Titanfall will still be a $59, $59.99 game, even though that's even in the same. It's the closest I can think of to a game like Payday, where it is just strictly a multiplayer thing. Titanfall is just a multiplayer game with some campaign elements to it, on-screen stuff and shit like that going on. There's a kind of story, but if you look at how they've been making it behind the scenes and everything, it's a multiplayer game. So, but that one's gonna be pushed for $59.99, and because they can get $59.99 out of it. Whereas I think something like Payday 2, although Payday the first one was really great and people loved it and probably would have paid the $59.99, more people would get it for the cheaper cost. So I don't know what kind of games that are just multiplayer only go for the full retail price nowadays. But on the opposite, a single player game will still go for $59.99, like BioShock 1 or something. So it's which is weird, because you could get more time and usage out of a multiplayer game for the money you're putting into it than a single player game. You beat that, you're done. Right. Unless it's something like Skyrim, which is 60 plus hours, potentially, but your basic campaign BioShock is maybe 10 hours, and then what do you do after that? There's nothing else. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but does that justify the $59 tagline onto it?
Well, I mean, think about it. Let's see. If you were to get 10 hours of, let's consider it hours of entertainment. If you want to get 10 hours worth of movie entertainment, what is that going to run you? Average movie is an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes.
Yeah, so what, 7 movies?
Yes, or thereabouts.
Roughly 6, 7.
So it's going to be $70, more than that, because you're paying what, $12,
You're paying about
$14?
$12, $14 for a movie ticket, and even if you just buy the DVD,
The DVD.
it's still
Lieutenant Dan, we're watching DVDs. Want some ice cream? Ice cream, Lieutenant Dan. Okay. And also, once the entertainment of
own
a movie,
anything
right?
either.
The
It's
entertainment
over.
of the movie is fleeting. Like,
Yeah.
you watch a
It's
movie
finite.
once, you can remember it, your memories you have, but you
Can't
can't.
go back and watch it.
But a game you can, I can play
Yeah.
BioShock Infinite again, even though, I beat it.
Yeah. Which I have nothing against, because I'd rather have you make a really solid, hardcore, awesome campaign single player, and that's it, rather than you splitting it up into two different teams and pulling a BioShock 2 where you've got a mediocre campaign and a horrific multiplayer. I don't like that multiplayer. And good thing they took it out of Infinite, and it's bad. And I don't like you. It's a different studio that made BioShock 2 than the first one.
Yeah,
I don't
2K,
like you.
2K Marin,
Marin,
I think.
yeah. And I don't like you because I spent hours and days grinding to level 40 in the multiplayer to get my last achievement in 100% of the game. And 2 weeks later, you add DLC with multiplayer achievements. And I don't like that, because that is a gone 100% game. Not nice. Not nice.
The multiplayer is bad, too.
But BioShock Infinite did, I don't know if you played, I doubt you have, the DLC for it. Their first DLC is like a horde-based thing with challenges. That's the first one. And the second one, which is like their big one, is something under the sea or something. It's
Burial
like
at Sea. It's going to take
Burial at
place in
Sea.
Rapture, yeah.
In
No
Rapture.
combat. The first part.
combat?
Yeah, the first part of it. It's a 2-part DLC. The first part is going to be dropping sometime. I think the first DLC just dropped for Infinite, didn't it? And
Yeah,
Burial
the
at Sea
horde-based.
is coming later. But the first part, the creative director from it's Irrational Games, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Ken Levine said there's going to be no combat in that first part.
That's cool. I'm down for that.
I heard that, and I'm interested. I'm not shut up and take my money, but I'm interested about what does that mean? Is it like a mystery? Is it going to be a game where you have movement and motion and you get to go do things and like look for
Puzzle
this and try to solve puzzles and stuff? Okay. But when I heard, I don't play BioShock Infinite or BioShock for the combat necessarily. I mean, there's a incredible narrative and visuals all wrapped up in there. But there is combat, and the action makes it all interesting, and it actually plays to the story somewhat.
Yeah.
And so when I hear that there's going to be no combat, I'm thinking, well, am I just going to be paying for a 2-hour cutscene? Whatever it's going to be for $9.99, $7.99 for the DLC for one cutscene. Is that? I'm not going to. I don't feel I'm going to pay for that. So I'm interested to hear more about what this concept of no combat in BioShock and telling a narrative still. But I'm tentative because to me it does not compute.
I would think it has something to do with like being in like a detective mode kind of puzzle solving kind of thing, because Infinite happens before Rapture.
Yes.
So when they go there, that you're gonna see the events unfold before the first BioShock 1, before they all turn into splicers. Spoiler alert! Even though you should know that the game starts up and there's something attacking you.
Yeah.
So-
First murder scene in the first BioShock,
Yeah.
where you see that splicer just eviscerate that guy, that game was what, 2007?
2007.
That's still gruesome and scary.
Gruesome. Yep.
Don't
the
like
scariest
that.
moment in BioShock 1, it got me twice on 2 separate playthroughs. Is when you're going through.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's when you're going through like a dentist area and it's like smoky and misty in there, and like no matter what, I always fall for it. Like I go in there, I hear noises, quiet. I'm looking through a cabinet getting stuff. I turn around, there's a dentist splicer in my face,
Yep.
and I scream like a girl every time.
Yep. I do the
It's
same thing too.
scary.
It's weird because the one that everybody knows is when you first get the shotgun in BioShock, where you go to that room and it's in the middle The
Yeah.
room is dark, save for a single light in the middle that's shining down over the shotgun. You pick it up, and then the lights go off, and then you hear people moving around
Yeah.
you, and that was freaky enough. But the dentist part you're talking about is in a, it's like it tucked away in a little corner of the first level.
Yeah, you're like going through a crawl space, I'm pretty sure, and you come up into the room.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
you don't have to go there to advance the story. It's not part of any real objective. You go there for the loot. I think you get, do you get a plasmid or?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's a plasmid.
But you get something. It's
It might be.
worthwhile a little bit, but yeah, that was really scary because you go and you interact. I think it was a safe that you unlock. You have to hack the safe and
Yeah.
you open it, and the way just the engine works. And he's right, and then you turn around and he's right there. And even I know exactly what you're talking about. I've played it multiple times too, and I know he's there. I know what's coming, and I know there's going to be a thing looking at you right in the face when you turn around from this. Don't
They
be
have
scared.
things like that in Infinite too. They had those little you pull a lever and turn around, and the dude's standing there, and he just starts screaming at you.
Oh, the silent boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that wheelchair with the head in it that
no,
rolls
screw,
towards
nope,
you really creepily.
nope,
Oh
nope,
no.
nope.
Haven't
Done.
played it yet.
Done.
Oh
Done,
my
done,
God.
done. The first time I saw that, I was doing my Let's Play, and I was just, I wanted to, I was like, I don't want to play. I don't want to play anymore. This freaks me out. It was one of those George Washington heads that those characters wear, and it was just,
Yeah,
In
those
a,
are creepy.
in a wheelchair, and the wheelchair was just slowly rolling towards you out
Mm-hmm.
of nowhere. I remember just kind of standing there should I go or?
oh, and thinking about BioShock 1, one of the most, it wasn't a jump scare, just the most eerie things, one of the most eerie parts was there are these, I think you do it when you get to it when there's you're doing the artist guy, the performer or whatever, and he wants to make art out of
Oh, that's
people.
a creepy area.
And you're going through this one place and you see it's this big room, and across it's all the way in the corner from the entrance is this thing, and you see these humanoid things posed, and you think they're just inanimate
They look like
objects.
statues.
Right, they look like statues. So you walk, and then you go do whatever it is you have to do in that corner, and you turn around, they're not in your face, but they've moved.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
There's another one in that same area. There's a room, you go into a bathroom, and you go in it, and there's nothing there.
Uh-huh.
And I think if you go back in it, there's statues everywhere in there.
Yeah, that's it, yes.
Yeah.
no.
It's really eerie.
Nope.
It's creepy.
It's creepy to think about. I'm just thinking about it now. I'm like, oh,
The first one was
I like
actually
it.
a pretty scary game. The second one
the
was
second one was awful.
pretty bad.
The second one was bad. It was
Yeah.
it was interesting what they tried to do, but
But it really wasn't, because it was like, well, what do we got to do now? Oh, we got to write the story. Well, everybody likes the Big Daddy. What if you played as a Big Daddy? Okay, that's the whole story.
But you-
Even though you get shot in the face at the beginning in the opening cutscene.
right, and you're
They don't
not
touch on that.
you don't feel like a big daddy. You don't
No, you're just
feel
a
like
dude with
a
a drill.
at the end you feel powerful, and because once you've got everything stacked okay, but you don't feel normal. And then they also had to make that
It's
narrative.
a Deus Ex Machina, because, I mean, the Big Daddies you encounter the entire time in Bioshock 1, there are two versions. There's the big dude with the drill, and there's the one with the cannon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But in the two, they're like, you get to play as the Big Daddy. Well, how are we going to work that out? I mean, they're not humans. All right, it's an alpha Big Daddy. It's just a dude in, a kind of a normal-looking scuba diver suit. He's got a helmet on. He can still use the plasmids, and he has the drill arm. It's like, well, then why did you fucking cancel that generation?
Right,
Where
why
they
just
get the
not that one?
plasmids and the drill gun. Why
And
did
he's
you just...
fast, and he's
He's
still got the
agile.
drill, and he's got the plasmids. Why'd you cancel that? That was good. That's better than the big fat slow one.
Yeah, I don't understand. They just totally wrote around all that just to make it work so you get to play as a Big Daddy, which was not all it was cracked up to be.
No, and it wasn't the only really cool part of that game was when you played as a little sister.
That was cool.
And you got to
play as
see
her.
things from
And
their
You got
eye.
to see things through her eyes.
and then it's like, oh,
Mr.
okay.
Bubbles, we gotta get your stuff, Mr. Bubbles.
That's why they're not, you know,
Scared.
right, because they think it's all just a thing.
Unicorns and rainbows.
And then wasn't there just some awful escort mission in there where you had to pretend
There's a couple.
you had to, like, when you were first learning to take around your, you know, a little sister, and you had to walk around this
You had
area,
to take her to some bodies and get her to harvest them.
and it's just like, I stop making escort missions. They're awful.
They're not fun. That's all of Resident Evil 4.
Oh,
There's
really?
one big escort mission with
Ugh.
Ashley.
Ugh.
Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And if they grab her and run out of frame with her, you fucking lose.
See, and BioShock Infinite did a great job, is that because it's all a big escort mission too, because you've got this non-playable character, Elizabeth, near you all the time, but you don't have to worry about her health. You don't have to worry about her just like walking away and getting lost. Although sometimes the logic gets weird, but it's not like a constant thing. So they did a good job of really making
Did you
Elizabeth a
finish it?
companion. Yeah, I beat it.
Did you like the ending? I didn't know. Don't
No.
tell me because I haven't seen it. But I heard it was kind of deep. To
Yeah.
do with Elizabeth's powers.
Yes, we'll talk about the ending and because it has to deal with quantum mechanics, which
Yeah.
I have.
I know that much, but I don't want to know the ending.
Okay, well, I'll try to cover it as best I can. We'll discuss it a little bit without us. For the next segment, there is a standing spoiler alert. Okay, I think we can all make that deal. We'll be right back. That's not why you called. As always, we do appreciate liking the stream / the VOD if this is when you're watching it. I love seeing it roll through during the breaks. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about maybe some quantum mechanics. You know, this show has gotten really sciencey and nerdy, and I
'Cause we're
really
smart
like it.
people.
Yeah, because we're really smart. Damn it!
I don't see any science people trying to prove us wrong, and when they do, guess
Nope.
what? We're smarter than them.
Because science. Because our science is better than your science. And we're going to talk about UMG Atlanta and a few other things. You can help me make a decision on live streaming video games and what games I need to buy coming up. So be
Yes.
sure to stick around. That's not why you called. We'll be right back.
Butterfingers. Butterfingers.
That's not why you called. Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. That's not why you called.
Welcome back. That's not why you called. Are you really conducting that intro?
I don't even think they're.
Keeping the time, Chiz?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2.
No.
Well, you can keep time for any.
And a 3 and a
You
4
can keep
and
time for or conduct and keep time for any musical piece. I would assume.
Yeah, you can. Because if you're not in time, you don't have
If
music.
you're not in time to screw up, Katie. God, learn to
No,
play an
I
instrument.
mean, that would not be the right time for that. Never mind.
You're also talking to the guy that grabs a Guitar Hero 2 or Guitar
Fine.
Hero controller to.
The real one is right next to it.
So why didn't you grab that one?
Because it's heavier.
Lazy.
To one
and,
Unprofessional.
and unprofessional. There you go.
Still-
There goes there. That's Katie's word allotment for the segment. So we'll be seeing
Pretty
her at the top of the hour.
Might
hearing
be
from her.
unprofessional, but at least I don't fake laugh.
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired. So what was this now?
Bang.
There was a guy trying to impersonate me in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know.
At first, I thought it was you because he said, "I don't have pants on,"
Well, I don't.
and that was something that I said to you before we started the
Yeah,
stream.
I was.
Uh huh.
It made me
So
go.
that was
what?
weird.
Yeah.
But then he said something else. Like he kept talking, and I'm like, "Well, that's not something he would say." And
Then he
he's
started
certainly
talking
not
about
typing.
sponsorships
Yeah.
and like.
Oh, what did he say?
About
How
He's
much
gonna make
dough
us some
you
money.
got?
no.
10 large for a 20-second ad.
10 grand for 20-second ad. Yeah. Sponsor
not
a
bad.
segment of the
Damn.
show. This segment of That's Not Why You Called, brought to you by blah, 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 whatever your business is. No. That's how I'm going to say it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what the name of your business is. It's going to be brought
You'll
to you
have
by
the picture
blah, blah,
up
blah.
there. You'll
Yeah.
have the picture up there. They can read it themselves, okay? It's
but-
a video podcast.
Yeah.
But as far as what we say,
Blah,
you have
blah,
to pay
blah.
more for coherent sentences.
Right. That's the
We're
basic
just going to
package.
point and do this.
Is the image. The basic package is the image. If you want,
Are we gonna charge by number of characters?
we're going to
Yes.
charge by number of
Syllables.
words that you say,
Syllables.
Katie.
That I say.
Yeah, that you say.
That'll be really cheap. I don't say that.
Did you
many
just-
words.
Call yourself cheap,
No, I don't.
easy.
What?
What?
Mm,
This is why
No.
you don't talk.
You open your mouth once.
I was
and you
saying
put your
because I don't
foot in
talk
it.
that much.
You
You're
are
the one
not
that's
making
butting
any
into something.
sense. You're not making
Okay.
any sense. All right. Anyway, when we left off last time, as always, again, we appreciate everybody that likes to stream. I saw a lot of people liking it. Talking about the BioShock Infinite, the ending. Not enough. Yes, I want to see more. More. All the likes. The ending dealt in. It took a few liberties with the idea of quantum mechanics and the idea of multiple universes. One interview I saw before the release of BioShock Infinite, the director Ken Levine said that he read about the Schrodinger's cat, which is a thought experiment often associated with
Cat
quantum
dead or
mechanics.
alive.
Right, that's the cat. I'll explain Schrodinger's cat in a little bit, but I saw that, and he said, we took a lot that idea of the Schrodinger's cat thought experiment. It really stuck with me, and we tried to implement that into the narrative, and it really starts to play out towards the end. The idea of Schrodinger's cat. Now, Schrodinger's cat is a thought experiment. Ironically, though, it was originally posed to contrast and to call into question some of the stipulations of quantum mechanics. And the idea generally is that a system exists of not as potentials, but as a sum of every possible state of the system. That is how a system should be viewed. Basically, I'm butchering it, but I'm not a quantum
Until
physicist.
observed.
Until observed,
Which
yes.
one of the possibilities
Now,
comes
Schrodinger's
to fruition?
Schrodinger's cat is the idea that you have a cat in a box that you can't see. You can't see or observe the cat. But you know it's there. You do know it is there. But did you just put your phone in the whales?
No, I put my cigarettes in the whales.
Oh, okay.
Now, are they going to spontaneously combust or not?
Maybe. But the in the box with the cat is a vial of poison. If tipped over, the poison will kill the cat, and the poison is held by a machine, or not a machine, but just a contraption that depends on some random ion of some element appearing, a randomly selected version of some element or atom appearing. And they say, okay, well, technically that wouldn't be an ion. An ion is a molecule, is it not? Or is it an atom?
It's a molecule.
Google.
That's you. Continue explaining.
But anyway, the idea is that the cat's life, whether the poison tips or doesn't tip, is dependent on this completely random quantum level particle. An atom, an electron adding itself or not to create this ion. And the idea is, if you take quantum mechanics at face value, when quantum mechanics says systems exist as a sum of all their possibilities, as all their possible outcomes, then this means that the cat in this contraption is both alive and dead at the same time.
We don't know until
we observe it. And it was meant to be a reductio ad absurdum, a reduction to the absurd, that we are going to take what quantum mechanics says and apply it to this very narrow situation, and it becomes absurd. And thus it can't be that way. So Schrodinger's cat isn't necessarily representative of quantum mechanics. It was originally posed to discredit quantum mechanics, or at least that. Are you pouring water into your cigarettes in the wet?
This is the poison potentially.
Thank you for pantomiming Schrodinger's cat.
I was acting it out. Some people need visuals.
Right, visual aids. Katie, what have you found for us Googling?
Wikipedia is basically saying an ion is an atom or molecule in which the total number of electrons is not equal to total number of protons. So basically, it could be either or.
Okay, so because I thought there was a different word for a molecule versus an atom. That's
it's called an atom.
Too
molecule.
many that has too many or too few electrons or protons. Jerk. But yeah, that's Schrodinger's cat, and BioShock Infinite does a great job of, or it's a very interesting look at that, and the idea of multiple universes, and the idea that it's possible that we all exist as just the sum of different outcomes, different possibilities that we all are. And also this, and it delves a little bit into the idea of a multiverse, and there's multiple versions, an infinite number of universes with infinite, probabilities of an infinite constructions. But I'm not sure where that rests in the scientific community. I don't know if the multiverse is still a thing. I know it was for a little bit. String theory was huge in the in the middle of the first decade of the century, around 2005, 2006. String theory was pretty big, and they had 10 dimensions to make the math work to describe our universe.
11.
And sometimes it's crazy. I don't know from a science perspective where
membranes,
where we are in the multiverse. Well, that was one thing. There was the membranes could account for the different universes, and the Calabi-Yau manifolds, 6-dimensional space that come into and out of existence in our universe. It's just, it led to really absurd things. But so yeah. What was your question again? I'm sorry, I got a science boner.
Did anyone have a question?
I don't know. We wanted to put a bow tie on the BioShock Infinite ending, but I didn't want to spoil anything. Did I do a good
I just asked you
job?
if it was good.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
That's
good.
How do you feel about
15 minutes saying, yes, it's good.
Yeah. How did you feel, though, or how do you feel about it, that DLC coming out that's going to take you forward a little bit and go to Rapture? Like, are you interested in it, or are you like, no, it's a good bookend where Bioshock Infinite was. Please don't draw out the story anymore.
No. I loved Rapture. I love Rapture. Okay. I love the idea of it, and
you don't feel Rapture had its place in that.
No, I wish they would do more. I wanted them to do more. I mean, I wish Bioshock 2, that abortion of a game and narrative wouldn't have happened. But the idea of Rapture as sort of a character in the story is really cool to me. And like you touched on it earlier, Chiz, you get to, seeing it before it was torn apart by its own civil war. Because previously, the only time we had ever heard about Rapture before the war was through those audio logs, and even then it was like in the lead up to that. We never really got to see Rapture as Rapture. And I was actually, when they first announced Bioshock Infinite and they said this isn't going to have anything to do with Rapture, even though, again, standing spoiler alert, the ending of Bioshock Infinite kind of does involve Rapture. But I was kind of upset. I was like, there's more. Rapture has so much more you can do with it. Like, if you wanted to turn Rapture into an MMO of sorts, if you wanted to repolish the multiplayer gameplay and make Rapture a livable world for multiple people, I'd check that out. Obviously it would depend on their execution, but the idea of Rapture and what it is, I think it has a lot more left to go. And I hope they revisit it. And so I'm pumped to see.
Don't bring back multiplayer. Do anything else you want with it. Don't do that. It was a colossal failure.
Yeah, but it was.
Please don't.
I mean,
no, it was bad. That's what it was. It was bad.
Well, yeah, that was bad, but that doesn't mean multiplayer doesn't work in the Bioshock/Rapture universe. That doesn't mean that necessarily.
But it's like you said earlier. Like, people don't play Bioshock for the combat mechanics of it. That's not why they play it. They play it for the narrative and the story and everything about it. It's just an element that adds to the narrative, the engagement of what you're doing combat-wise. That's what he said. I don't know if I want to walk around for 40 minutes and do nothing but watch a cutscene. It plays a part, but in telling the story, which is why it's good. But that's why when they put out the first DLC, which is just these challenges that is horde mode essentially, it's like, why would they ever do this? Because it's not a combat driven game. That it was thrown in because their big DLC is the Rapture one. I mean, it was something to throw out there because they said we got a deadline. This is the first DLC, so it was thrown out.
Well, we've got to justify the season pass because as much as Ken Levine likes to be an artiste and pound his chest about his integrity as an artist and as a developer, he still wants to cash those damn checks, and he's going to do it. So
I was wondering about that. Like, how would the season pass work? Because they're for every game now. Every game has a season pass.
Batman Arkham Origins has a season pass.
It's just such a scam.
Well, the Arkham City DLC was awful.
Was it?
It was bad.
What was it?
Bad. Well, first of all, it was just a bunch of challenge mode stuff.
Well, there you go. That's what they do.
But they did do a narrative one to continue the narrative, Harley Quinn's Revenge.
Yeah.
Awful. It was short. It didn't do anything. There wasn't a continuation of any kind of story. There wasn't a cliffhanger to, it kind of explored the dynamic between Batman and Robin, at least in that universe. And why Robin becomes Nightwing eventually. Spoiler alert.
What is that? What is that?
What do you mean? What is what?
Who's Nightwing?
Nightwing is Robin leaves Batman in the lore. Like, throughout the lore of Batman, Robin leaves Batman to become Nightwing.
Is he a bad guy?
No, it's
what is this?
You know how it's like this in the DC universe, Batman and Superman are on the same side. They're both good guys fighting against villainy and all that stuff, but they don't really like each other and they don't trust each other. Yeah. They're very skeptical. That basically became Nightwing. Nightwing became that for Batman. It was they were both after the same thing, but they did. It was weird. So
I think Batman's just a
comic
dick.
book talk. Well, Batman is a dick to Robin. That's the thing, and that kind of covered it in Harley Quinn's Revenge. But Harley Quinn's Revenge, like, it was bad. It didn't do anything. I mean, the DLC was awful. So I'm not going to be plunking down money for a season pass for Batman Arkham Origins. And also, Rocksteady isn't doing Arkham Origins. They're working on another thing. This is somebody else. But I mean, it's
I
bad.
feel like the DLC for these games since they started the season pass has been really lackluster. Like Assassin's Creed 2, that was before the season pass, but it was the first Assassin's Creed game with DLC, and I got it because I love that franchise. And it was so boring and meaningless. Had nothing to do with anything. It was like unlock these memory sequences. It didn't even have achievements tied to it, which is like the only reason I get DLC half the time is for that, just to finish the damn game. And like, I don't know, when it comes to Con and Halo, it's just new maps, that's all it is. And now with the single player story narrative games, it seems that they just shoehorn a challenge or horde mode type thing into it. And then they throw out one narrative related DLC. That's all they've been doing.
Yeah.
I heard that the Assassin's Creed 3 George Washington DLC was really good, but I did not get
King
it.
George or
King
King
George.
Washington or something like that. Yeah.
I heard that was good.
Well, but that's a nothing DLC, because that's the problem as a storyteller for single player. I mean, DLC in a game like Call of Duty, multiplayer DLC makes sense. New maps, new this, new that.
Keeps it fresh.
Right? Battlefield 3 did it, and it was I was initially totally against it, but I gave it a shot, and I was very impressed with DICE and their offerings of DLC. But when you're talking about a single player game having add-on content after release, the problem is you design and you write a single player game to be self-containing. It starts here, it arcs, and then it ends, and it's supposed to wrap up at the end, and it's supposed to be the self-contained thing. But if DLC is trying to, like, well, maybe we didn't wrap it up as much as we said we did, and it makes you call into question at times, if it's not done right, it makes you call into question the original storytelling. Like, well, why wasn't this covered? Why was this covered and not this? And why what do I care about this DLC? And why am I playing it? What does this mean? Does this advance the story at all? That's the Dishonored had the Knife of Dunwall. Was the first narrative DLC, because it had the Dunwall Trials, the Dunwall City Trials, which was just horde mode. But the Knife of Dunwall was the first one, and I thought about that. I'm like, well, Dishonored was a short game. I was really interested by it. It was a really fun game to play. But why am I playing why would I buy and play this? What does this do for the story, for my interaction with the narrative? It doesn't really do anything, so I didn't end up buying it. So that's the tricky part with creating DLC for single-player games, because games are such big business now, and now this is why it's happening, because you can't when you release a game, you profit off of it once. You profit off of it when it's big, when it's getting sold. But companies now need to justify to their investors, like, well, we can generate gobs of revenue, not just once a year, or in the case of publishers with multiple titles releasing a few times every year. We can, raise the tide a little bit, and we're making money throughout the fiscal year.
Yeah, we've got a quarterly income.
And that's why you're going to see a lot of DLC shoehorned into single player titles, into titles that normally don't have DLC. And some will do it right. Some people will do it. I'm not a Mass Effect player, so I want to get somebody.
Those have all been good, I've heard.
Are those good?
One has been bad, but I think they've all been good. But once again, it's a story based. I appreciate it because, as far as I know nothing. But I think they're all story based,
right?
And narrative ones. It's not like they put in a horde mode in Mass Effect as one of the DLCs. As far as I know, I mean, I've heard they've been really good. Same thing goes for like Fallout 3 or something like that. Done well.
Yes.
New Vegas.
Right, the DLC and stuff. See, I'm so old, I remember when it wasn't DLC, they were expansion packs.
Well, yeah.
right? Because you had to go to the store and buy them. And I once bought an expansion pack thinking it was a standalone game, and I was really pissed.
You failure.
I'm an idiot.
You are an idiot. I still remember I would pick up the battle chest from Blizzard games. It would have like Diablo, Diablo 2, and then an expansion. Same goes for StarCraft.
What was the expansion for Diablo 2? Oh.
It was something of destruction.
Lord of Destruction? Knight of Destruction? No,
not Knight. Because it was not.
I think it was Diablo 2 Lord.
It was his brother. It was
it was Baal.
Or whatever.
Baal.
Yeah.
Baal runs all day. Oh, I remember doing Baal runs.
Lord of Destruction.
Yeah, Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. That was a fun-ass game. Oh, why did Blizzard have to ruin it?
That was my favorite game.
Why did Blizzard have to ruin Diablo 3? Diablo 2 was so much fun.
It was pretty amazing. I put so many hours into that game. I would go to the Secret Cow level, hang out,
Secret Cow level.
Baal run.
Yeah, well, you had to do Diablo runs, and then you got up to a point where you could...
Nobody did those, though, once you got...
Well, yeah, but you had to gear up if you were going to do Baal runs, and then you had to up the... Because I played hardcore.
Yeah.
And I remember the big thing there was TPPK, Town Portal Player Killing, because guys would just get their super leveled up characters, go into your public game, right, declare you hostile, or declare hostility, TP to you, kill you, and it got to the point where they would teleport to you, open a town portal, and shoot at you, and they would be out of your game before you were actually hit by what they had cast at you, and you would get killed. So we had to worry about that, me and the buddy that played, but man, Baal runs for just hours, and it's the same thing, same tactic. He's spawning these guys, got to cast this, stand here.
It was fun.
And why was it fun? That's interesting to me. Why, what? Because would that be acceptable today? Would that be acceptable?
It probably would be. It depends on what mode you're in. Because I remember I used to play RuneScape a lot during middle school, and I remember that's just. I mean, that's not even. I mean, it's like Diablo 2. All you're doing is clicking. That you're just clicking the whole time. There's not even macros or anything like in Diablo.
Right.
Just clicking, and I'm clicking in this one spot to fish sharks. Non-stop. I'm waiting there clicking to fish sharks. Then I'm going to click over here and walk, and then click to cook the sharks. And I'm going to go over here and put them on my bank, and I'm going to do that again for a couple more hours. And I'm like, why was that fun? That's not fun. That I couldn't go back today and play RuneScape. I agree, it was a classic. It was fun. Everybody got back into it when 2007 or whatever rebooted.
Yeah,
I could not go back and play that, though. It's not fun to me anymore to just click and watch my dude walk across and go do something. It's not interactive enough. So, I don't know.
See, Diablo 3, I played Diablo 3, and I had high hopes for it because of my love for Diablo 2. And
I never bought it.
Yeah, and it sucks because Blizzard still is really good at making those kinds of games and sticking and making you feel like you're playing a Diablo game, but they just had to. They just had to have the real money auction house, and that ruined everything. They had to say. They said, "Well, because this is exactly what happened." Bobby Kotick, when they acquired Blizzard and Activision, he looked at their assets. He looked at the assets of Blizzard and Blizzard North, or whoever created Diablo. And he looked at it and said, "Okay, well, you've got World of Warcraft. That's a plus win. But what else do you have? Well, you got Diablo. Well, okay, we can make Diablo." People have been crying for Diablo 3. We're going to give it to them. But what can we maximize out of Diablo? Well, Diablo itself the name is going to sell. But, there's got to be something else we can do. And he started doing research, or he had people do the research. And they realized there are all these websites, auction house websites, making so much money from the sale of Diablo items. Because you could trade items with people, but there was no real money auction house. If you wanted something now, and you didn't want to grind to get in-game gold to go to the in-game auction house,
right?
And there were websites devoted to that, making a lot of money. And he said, there it is. That's where we're going to that's where we're going to push it over the top. And the simple way to do that was, we're taking the real money auction house and putting it in the game. We're making it safer to you. You don't have to trust these people that you don't know. You're dealing with Activision and Blizzard, and we're the intermediary. And that's how they're going to sell it and sell it and sell it. And it just the quest to squeeze every last little nickel, diamond, penny from every square inch of the Diablo franchise killed it. And it made Diablo 3 always online. Same thing with SimCity. Always online, always this, so that we have control, so that we can squeeze every last little nickel and dime out of you, or out of the game. And that ruined it. The idea that, lag could kill you, and there's no offline, and it completely disrupted the in-game economy. There was no good loot drops. You had to go, if you wanted to build a high-level character, you had to go to the auction house. You had to.
Yeah.
And that ruined it. Absolutely ruined it. So basically, screw you, Bobby Kotick. You're a bastard. And your acting role in Moneyball was absolutely awful. I hate you. You're a crappy actor, Bobby Kotick. Nobody likes you. Go home. Sports? Yeah, I'm missing the Bears game for the show. I could have not done the show tonight and watched the Bears' second preseason game, but I didn't. All right, while we take a break, somebody tweet me, TNWYC, tweet me updates on the Bears game if you are watching it, because I want to know how bad Jay Cutler has sucked, because Mark Trestman doesn't know what he's doing. Sports Talk, that's how I call. We got a lot more coming up in the last half of the show. We'll be right back.
Sturtle.
That's not why you called. Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. That's not why you called.
Welcome back. That's not why you called. Are you like middle-aged white woman in a Bruce Springsteen concert? Was that your mime there? Bros, I love bros.
Don't hate on the boss and what he can do to women. All right, because he's the boss. He's the boss.
Did the Super Bowl? He shoved his junk at the camera. Fucking douchebag.
He's the boss. He's the boss. What are we talking about?
We were talking about, what were we talking about? I don't even remember. Professionalism. Exactly.
Oh, you want to know about the Bears game? Who cares, though? Somebody sent you a photo. Go look at it.
No, I don't want to. I got stuff to do. I got to run the show. I don't got time to be clicking on Gazzos and stuff. Somebody tweeted me Jay Cutler's 4 of 5 for like some odd yards,
Bears
a touchdown. And
14.
Yeah, but it's preseason. It's about the preseason in American NFL football or NFL football is
doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter, but it's about you look at narrow things. You look at, well, does this player understand the position? Is this middle linebacker making the right reads? Is the offensive line picking up the Mike rusher? Are they picking up the rush? Are they being fooled easily by line stunts, this or that? You look at not winning and losing, you look at how each individual plays their position, how they're supposed to be playing the position. Like in this case, is Jay Cutler making the correct reads in the West Coast offense? Is he, is he holding on to the ball too long? Is he taking the 3-step drops? Giving him his offensive line a chance to what?
What?
What? What's your issue with football?
I have no issue.
Yeah,
I was bobbing my head back and forth. But
you were being
matter.
sarcastic, you jerk.
Preseason don't matter. Everybody knows that.
No, the outcome of the game does not matter, but
yes,
the nuts and bolts of the game
but that's
matter.
about it. Unless somebody
about
really fucks up in preseason, then you will not see them in the season.
Right. And you also look, what young guys, second, third string guys are doing okay, but it's often hard to tell because, a third string guy beating up on another third string guy doesn't really tell you anything.
Doesn't really tell you much. No, it doesn't.
No, so
what's the point?
It's basically.
Would you quick question? Would you recommend Payday 2 to people?
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking. It depends on what you want. That's the thing. If you are,
you obviously missed the part where I said quick.
No, well, there's no such thing as quick on this show. We got 2 damn hours to fill, man.
Yes or no?
No, I can't. I refuse to answer that question. I refuse to whittle down my endorsement of a product to yes or no. I refuse. No. I have integrity.
No, you don't. You're a whore. All right, answer the question.
It depends on what you want. If you're going to be playing it in a single player capacity, no, it's not. You don't want. There are plenty of other games, that you can get even for that price that have a story, good writing, all that stuff. However, if you play on PC or on console when you can get your hands on a copy, if you got a lot of friends, you guys play a lot. It's a fun game. It's action packed, and now they add with the advent. Payday was such a huge success. They devoted a lot more to it. You don't have to go about the same heist or the same mission objective in the same way. Yeah, there's no. There's a ton. They added a ton. We just
I meant there was only like first one.
Right. There were only 4 missions, and you had to go about them the same way each and every time. This time, that's not the case. So you can go, if you want to build a silent class, you want to try to do it, Ocean's 11 style without firing a shot or killing anybody, you can do that.
If you want to take 19 duffel bags of cocaine when you only need 8, you can do that.
Hey, we got paid, okay?
Yeah. Paid.
And we basically learned how lucrative the cocaine trade is.
Yeah, we're going into the trade.
By the way, update to TNWYC, we're going to be discontinuing the show while Chiz and I pursue our now lifelong dreams of becoming cocaine dealers.
Going to South America.
Because we're going to make a lot of money.
We're going to grow the cocaine.
Because if that game is to be believed, and I know that video games are the absolute verified truth, and I take them as gospel, and I apply everything they teach me to my everyday life, then 2 days of work in the drug business grants you about $800,000.
Cops die very easily, even the whiteheads.
Right, even the whiteheads. You just got to pop them. Pop them in the head. Pop the whiteheads. You're good.
They die easily. There's always a helicopter to pick you up, always on time, doesn't get shot down by another helicopter. In fact, the police don't even use helicopters in drug heists.
No.
And it's very lucrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can regen health. Getting shot doesn't.
You regen your armor.
And but if you got a doctor's bag or you're wearing body armor, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And also, apparently, walking into a bank wearing body armor over your suit, nobody really cares.
Hey, you just might be really precautious when you're cashing your check.
You go to LiveLeak, you see all those videos of cops beating the crap out of people. Maybe you should start wearing a bulletproof vest around.
Everyone do it so that way when me and Lefty walk in.
Well, there's a lot of states that outlaw body armor. You can't own body armor legally as a citizen.
Why not?
I feel like...
Well, let's explore. Let's unpack that. Why would that be?
Simply because the police wouldn't be able to do anything if you had body armor?
Well, no, not that they wouldn't be able to do anything. It would be a lot harder, yeah.
Right. It would give you an upper hand.
Well, all right, here's the thing of it. All right, let's talk about it like this then. Do those same states also outlaw over a certain caliber and don't allow, like, hollow points and whatnot?
Well, hollow point...
If you have a vest, there are countermeasures you can use to get through said vest. Mm-hmm. But if they prohibit both...
police, as I understand it, tend to use hollow point bullets, which are easier to stop. Well, stop. As in, when you get shot with a bullet, it's still going to hurt you. There's so much energy
break a rib
in that thing. It's going to mess you up.
Where a hollow point is like a shotgun shell.
It flattens out. Impact. It's not designed to go through you. It's designed to go in you and flatten out and impart all of its energy to you, rather than just a rifle bullet or even 9mm usually go through people. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I know rifle bullets they go through you. A bullet passing through you is still very traumatic.
A 22 will go through you.
But police generally use hollow point ammunition, which is designed to flatten out stopping power. Police are all used as stopping power, whores. But those bullets, the
hair shit up.
What's that?
Huh?
Oh yeah,
hair shit up.
They screw up your internal organs, turn them to mush.
Razor claws.
You're dead. But those are easier to stop with a Kevlar vest because they're designed to dissipate energy, and that's their job. Just like getting shot with a shotgun without a vest, you're dead. But a shotgun blast isn't that big of a deal for a Kevlar vest.
Yeah.
Whereas a rifle bullet, not many vests out there. Then you have to start getting into the ceramic flak jacket stuff if you want to stop rifle bullets. Mm-hmm. That are actually designed to go, long barrel rifles go through you and hurt you really bad. So, but yeah, a lot of states and municipalities don't allow you don't allow the citizens to own body armor. What kind of bullshit is that?
I don't know. I feel like it can go 50-50. That's the thing. It can feel like it can go 50-50. It's like you should kind of have the right to it if the police do. But at the same time, it's like your Joe Schmo doesn't need body armor. More than likely, the person buying body armor is the individual going to do something where they will engage in an act that may end up with them potentially being shot at.
See, but you tripped right over it. I mean, it's not about...
I know what you're going to say.
Well, but they don't, okay?
Yeah.
Well, then screw you too.
That's not a bad thing.
Get the hell out of the call then. You don't talk anyway. We can get on without you.
It just means we know you.
Right.
But I knew as soon as I finished my statement, I know where you were going to go with
What am I going to say?
You're going to say it doesn't matter whether it shouldn't be allotted someone, if you're engaging in a situation, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't, it's the same argument applied to how big of a magazine can I have? It's the same argument applied there. Who's to say I may need or not need this? You cannot, you should not be allowed to say that, especially when certain individuals do get to wear body armor, like the police. How come they can say I cannot wear it then? It's essentially what you're going to say. It's the same argument for the magazine clip.
Pretty much.
Close in the ballpark? All right.
Well, you can't reduce the is it okay that we are restricting rights? Because that's what laws do, right? The Constitution, the American Constitution gives us all these rights. Laws restrict those rights, passed by the Congress, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Now, if you're going to throw your lot in with a law that restricts a right, which is body armor is, I would say, isn't specifically outlawed by the Constitution. So, okay, you're going to restrict my right to own body armor. Well, if you can't, I would say it's imprudent to say the need, you may need or not need this or that isn't an effective way to argue that this is acceptable, because, I don't always need to be secure in my home against unreasonable search and seizure. I don't always need that. I'm not always making use of it. In fact, there are many people that go throughout their lives never making use of that. But does that mean we throw it out? No, because it's supposed to be a backstop against all that stuff. So, divvying up and carving up rights based on, you don't really need that, is, I think, you're going down a path that is definitely very difficult to come back from.
But it goes both ways. Yes, that, but it still comes down to what is the most likely reason that it is outlawed in those states.
I don't want to get shot. That's my need.
I don't want to get shot.
That's my reasoning.
Yes, but usually the people that don't want to get shot, they get a Kevlar vest, are more than likely going into a predicament with not the best intent. Your average Joe Smo isn't walking. He may be open carrying, but he's more than likely not wearing a Kevlar vest because he's not thinking that way.
Right.
But some people do.
I'm not saying that there aren't some people that probably do walk around with Kevlar all the time. I'm just saying the reason a state would probably ban them is for that reason there.
Well, some people, if people have the right to drive, or excuse me, the privilege, because they always make that distinction, the bastards. If people are licensed to operate motor vehicles and have ready access to motor vehicles, they may put themselves in a situation where they're driving getaway for criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't we restrict access to motor vehicles then? You can't be giving, allowing people to become wheelmen for crime syndicates.
You're
can't
right.
do that.
You're right. Ban all cars. I'm all for it. Make a Hyperloop.
The Hyperloop. That's cool.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that. Yeah, the Hyperloop.
We didn't talk about that.
Now, who is this guy? He's the creator of PayPal?
PayPal and some other big ones. I bet if I just type in Hyperloop, I remember his name. Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk. Tesla Motors, SpaceX, and PayPal. So
rich.
Yeah. And a visionary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the idea is that it's an electric thing, right?
Magnets.
For places. Oh, magnets. Okay, so I'm assuming electric magnets, or electrically powered magnets for cities separated by less than 1,000 miles. Right, I think it's up to 1,000 miles if I remember correctly.
1,000 miles.
The idea is that you have a stationary, like a train track, basically. The idea of just an immovable, just a course traveled by pods, as he calls them, that move at very, very high speeds, covering the 1,000 miles or thereabouts in only 30 minutes an hour. And it's a really cool idea. He even said, he's like, well, if you build it big enough, you could have people drive their cars onto these pods, and then the pods close, and then they go.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a pretty cool idea.
Way better and smarter to implement that than the high-speed bullet train California voted in like a couple years ago.
How much is that thing going to cost?
Like $64 billion, I think.
Yeah, because we need to be spending money on that.
And it's going to take until 2022 for it to be finished, and it'll still take 2.5 hours from San Francisco and where I'm at to LA.
So how far is that in linear miles?
600, a little more than 600 probably.
Okay.
It takes about 6 to 7 hours to drive down there.
Okay.
So about that many. But because the whole problem is acceleration to get up to those speeds to get you to traverse such great distance, it'll still take me to go to San Francisco. It'll still take me 2.5 hours on there to get there. Where I can take Greyhound, it'll take me 2 hours because it doesn't get up to those speeds. It only goes like 80 or 70 or something in certain areas. So yeah, that was a great one to vote in, which it won't be done for another. Who knows if I'll be in this state when it's done. Fucking
but bullet trains.
$64 billion. We don't do trains anymore. We're not good at it. Japan and the rest of them, they did it right. I'm not going to top that.
Except for Spain. Spain didn't do it right.
We did it right. We don't put the right people in the trains. Put speed freaks in there who could take a turn.
Boasting about it on Facebook.
Facebook, yeah. That dude was
look at how fast I'm going. But don't tell anybody because if they find out, I'll get fired. Well, why do you think they're gonna fire you? What did his friends say? What were his friends saying? Yeah, because you got all those people in that big ass hunk of metal. You're doing.
That's one kid who never got a model train set as a child and didn't go really fast on the turns. He did not know how.
You go really fast on the turns once, and then it falls over. And you say, "Huh, I can't do that." Okay.
Yeah, and you've learned. So when you get into the real thing, you don't do that.
No.
I want the Hyperloop, but I feel like I may be dead by the time it comes around.
Nah, well, maybe. See, my only thing about it is that it's really, really, really dangerous. Well, here's the thing, because I always have this talk with people about.
I have a different issue.
You have a different issue, okay?
Yeah.
It's dangerous, but like when people talk about the danger of air travel versus driving a car, right? Like, oh well, thousands of people die every day on the roads. How many people die in plane crashes every day? It's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, flying a plane is safer. However, my thought on it is, well, I can survive a car accident. How many plane accidents am I going to survive? If a plane crashes on takeoff or landing when it's most likely to happen, what's my probability of surviving one of those things?
Pretty damn good as long as the rescue vehicles do not run over your head. Because it's been proven you can slam into a seawall and walk away from it with luggage in hand.
Yeah, but that was the ass end of the jet slammed into the seawall. It's not like the jet careened in and hit the seawall and then cartwheeled onto the tarmac. That was just pilot error. They didn't adjust the flaps right.
But did you see that one? This was a couple months back. The one where the cargo plane.
Oh, that one, the shifting cargo. Yeah,
the cargo hit the back, and that one was scary. That one just went, and then just came bam.
And you know what? That's
giant explosion.
Imagine what it's like to be the pilot on that. Because the pilot knows immediately.
He's up there when it's like this. He's like, "Fuck."
We're stalled. We stalled out in this. What was it? I think it was like a C-17 Globemaster.
Yeah,
or a C-5 Globemaster.
It was a cargo plane, so it was something that big.
And when the pilot, because the shifting cargo shifted the aperture of or not the aperture, whatever the positioning of the jet, and it went upwards, faster than it was moving forward, and so it killed their forward speed, and they stalled. And then the pilot knows that. And they were a couple hundred feet off the ground. And the pilot is like, shit.
Now he's got like 30 seconds to just wait to die.
Yeah.
There's no eject in a cargo plane.
Not even 30 seconds, like a couple.
Yeah.
And you're not going nose deep, because if you do it high enough, you stall, you come back down, and then you can pull out of it.
Yeah.
But
he was only like...
He was a couple hundred feet off the ground.
Like a belly flop.
And this is not a fighter jet.
It came down flat.
So...
But
what's your concern then?
Oh, my concern is the numbers are not what they say they are. Like the speed, I believe in all of that, but I don't believe I can pay $20 one way and go to LA from here in 30 minutes. I just don't.
I don't see it starting up that way, but maybe eventually.
But that's the numbers they proposed. That's what they said it was going to cost.
Well, if they can get the power. Whatever powers it, if they've got to generate the electricity to do it, I'm assuming it's going to be electricity.
Maybe if it went to Vegas, then I could see that coming because Vegas has their electricity is essentially free. So
actually, surprisingly, Vegas doesn't get a lot of electricity from the Hoover Dam, does it?
No, it's very cheap electricity there.
Oh, okay.
Very cheap. but I just don't see that happening. When a bus, a train, and a plane all cost the same. Granted, they all run on gasoline. Well,
certain
forms of
petrochemicals,
petroleum. Yeah, it's not the same, but to get electricity going, most of California is still ran off coal and everything. Mm-hmm. You need a huge fucking wind farm. I just don't see $20 one way.
Well, if a significant portion of the nation's electrical infrastructure switched over to nuclear power, which while again, it's like air travel. When something goes wrong, something's probably really screwed up. Yeah. But other than that, we've been screwing around with nuclear.
What was the last one?
Fusion
Island.
Well, the Japan.
Oh yeah, that was
because of the tsunami,
2 years ago.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah.
But again, reactor safety is something that a lot of people, it's a target for terrorists, yada yada yada. But it's really really cheap electricity,
and it's
because you don't have to dam a river, you don't have to screw with the ecosystem, you're not pouring hydrocarbons into the air. It's U-230, not U-238, U-235.
No, it's U-238.
Is it
uranium? Yeah.
Yeah, but then it turns
the
into
other one. There's another radioactive element they're using in, I think, Israel. It's not plutonium or uranium. It's something, or it might be a TH. I'm thinking of
tritium.
Thorium. It might be thorium.
Thorium.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's just neutrons.
Yeah.
Moving around, heating up water, and that water does stuff.
Yeah. It's steam. It's just steam.
Now, that area, I mean, that water, you got to do something with that. You got to find a way to dispose it. And eventually, those nuclear fuel rods they're going to be essentially out of usable neutrons.
Do you know how they haven't done it yet? I forget what mountain they're making the site to store all that shit in. Mm-hmm. But do you know how that works? Like, they're not just putting it in a room and locking it away. They put it into the actual the salt. It's big mountain. They put the barrels in there, and then eventually with time, the salt and whatnot, it encloses in on it, just all around it. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't get to it, like the rock and everything, and then just crumbles it down. It was really cool.
The same guys
sitting there.
The same guy's being Katie now.
What?
Yeah, the guy that was trying to impersonate me.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I
saw that. I was like, that's not her.
That's
silly. But the speed thing, I don't know, because we had the Concorde and whatnot, and that fucking flew at 2,100 miles, and we retired that,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if the speed thing really worries me. If anything, I'm sad that we aren't there yet. 2,100 miles was like Mach 3 or something. You could see the curvature of the Earth when you were flying. Mm-hmm. I think it was at 80,000 feet in the air as opposed to the normal 30,000.
You're up super high, yeah.
Yeah, I want more of those.
Do you want more Concords?
Yeah. You hear the story about that? One of them was taking off and tire from another was left on the tarmac and it went up into the engine. It crashed.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. And it was cool because it was the way the nose was built. It was angled. It moved. The nose moved. It was
oh cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they had a blind spot when they were coming. It was like a giant crane. What's wrong? No, I'm being silly.
Modern avionics is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
We need faster.
You know what I don't like? I don't like big ass jets that only have 2 engines. Don't like it. Now they're rated what is it? The A380, the Airbus A380 has 4, right?
That's the biggest one, right?
Right, that's the biggest commercial
plane
in existence. Is the Airbus A380. Boeing, I think it's the 777.
It's the 777.
Well, the Boeing's trying to come up the 787, the luxury liner, and they're having battery issues. Batteries are starting on fire for some reason. But I think it's the 777. Also a very large plane, obviously not as big as the A380, but it only has 2 engines. Now, a lot of people remember the 750 or the 747, which is a big ass plane,
still around.
And it's got 4 engines on it. Now, I like a 4-engine plane. Because if you lose an engine, you only lose 25% of your available power, of your available thrust. Right. When you lose 1 engine on a 2-engine aircraft, you lose 50% of your available power. Now, all those planes they can fly on one engine. The 2-engine planes can fly on one engine.
Yes.
But that's scary. No
Especially unless you have Captain Sully, in which both engines go out. Then you're fucked. You only have 2. Yep. You just shot it down to 0 percentile of
and
working.
Then you're just a big aluminum glider, and you don't glide that well.
Boeing's biggest version right now?
I don't know.
Whatever their biggest one is, they're gonna take their biggest one and make the next Air Force One, whatever that one is. So that'll be.
Thanks,
cool.
Obama.
Yeah, I want another plane.
All right, we are going to take a quick break, come back for the home stretch of That's Not Why You Call It. I think we've covered exactly 0 topics that we originally planned. Yeah, but we've talked about quantum mechanics and planes and stuff. We got a lot more along the way. Be sure to hit that like button. It does help us out, and we greatly appreciate it. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Ice cream spaghettios.
That's not why you called. Thursdays, 7 p.m. Central. That's not why you called.
Blah. Blah, blah, blah. Welcome back. That's not why you called. Home stretch. I need a soundbite for that. Well, even if I had a soundbite, Katie wouldn't play it, so it doesn't really matter who would play it. Katie wouldn't play anything. Katie, are you muted?
She's just not talking.
You're just a barrel of just awesome tonight.
I'd never mess with anything.
Oh, maybe you were typing and
Usually it unmutes it though.
Oh, usually? Oh, I don't know. Because it looked like you had said something, but nothing came out. So, but yeah, I mean, I would make a sound clip, but Katie, you wouldn't play it, would you?
No.
Good. Really earning that money
from
that $150,000. But let's just make it $200,000. It's easier.
Round up.
Yeah, $200,000, and you get the most professional podcast on YouTube. $200,000 a year. It's got to be. I mean, if we're gonna make a commitment, you got to have at least 2 years. I mean, so $400,000 for 2 years, and you've got the most professional podcast on YouTube. Plus whatever upfront costs, right? And plus whatever upfront costs we need to get a storefront and, like a warehouse if people want to visit the
live bands.
Yeah, live bands, live musical acts.
And if you want guests, we have to pay them, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Why do you think they aren't here now? You guys aren't contributing enough for guests.
Nope. Not contributing enough for guests. If you like the video enough, if we get 2,000 likes, Chisel burn his headphones and we'll get a guest. So at 2,000 likes, that's what we'll do. You're trying to fake out the mute thing, but it's not working.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm just mouthing.
Oh,
Fuck
okay.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to fake it out.
All right, that's... So, yeah. That's where
Breaking Bad. Fuck yeah. Everyone tell Lefty to watch Breaking Bad.
No, I don't want to watch Breaking Bad.
You do.
I don't.
Because then you'll learn how to make meth. Meth makes more money.
No, I'm good with cocaine. Cocaine. No, because
margins.
Right, better margins, but still think about it though. Crack cocaine, if I'm a crack cocaine dealer, the first time I get caught, I'm going away.
I'm going to crack cocaine?
Or meth. Meth is a steeper penalty than cocaine, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know.
I've never looked into it.
I know there's that discrepancy between crack cocaine and cocaine.
Well, there's a big difference.
Well, no. No. Well, actually, if you want to get into that, that's a pretty subtle version of institutional racism. The idea that cocaine, possessing and distributing cocaine is markedly more acceptable via, looking at mandated sentencing, more acceptable than crack cocaine.
Yeah.
No.
They're different.
They're not. They're cocaine.
They're different.
And they screw you up.
They're different.
How?
Crack is way harsher.
And whack. It's also whack.
Whack.
Oh, my.
I just had to do
DARE program graduates right there.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's crack and methamphetamine then. It's whatever. It's a very clear. There's the white people drug, and then there's a drug that a lot of black people use. And
cocaine is like a party drug, just like weed is.
Well, then maybe it was methamphetamine. Maybe I was confused, but I thought there is a large discrepancy in terms of what is, how screwed you are from a legal standpoint if you get caught distributing one drug versus crack cocaine, when they're essentially the same thing. I think it might have been meth, because meth is awful and it screws you up. And you see the pictures of people, meth addicts, and how they change in 6 months, and the thing it does. So it probably is meth. I apologize, I was mistaken.
Yeah,
but yeah.
From a legal standpoint, it's weird how they classify drugs. I don't know if it really falls in the legal thing, but marijuana is class 1 not narcotic, class 1 drug, but something cocaine is 2, and 1 is the worst. I don't really understand that, how those work. No, I even think narcotics is below marijuana. And those like painkillers and shit, and those will fuck you up.
Yeah.
Drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad, kids. Crack is whack. Just had to say it again. Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about this. We want to talk about maybe a little bit about the COD Ghost reveal. iFly is back. See, I've been struggling with this, whether to talk about the return of iFly Illini. And I don't want to see, because the reason is I didn't want to bring it up because the guy, from what I've heard, his time away from YouTube has been absolutely awful for him. And everything he does in his life has just been affected negatively by this. And I didn't want to talk about it and make it an entire segment devoted to it, because number one, I would have to bring up what I said, and I would have to bring up, what he did and what happened to him. And I didn't really want to. And I've been struggling with it, and because, my initial response is to want to defend what I had to say about him. But I think that pales in comparison to, my need to defend my logical points pales in comparison to what I read, what he says has happened to him in the 7 months he's been away from YouTube. So iFly is back, but it's been an awful, awful 7 months, and this is probably the only time, at least on this show, that I would like to devote to that. So iFly is back, but the hate, and this is what I wanted to jump off to. A lot of people show their ass when they start talking about iFly Illini. They really show their ass and just no. Oh, okay. No. We're gonna stick with no, because the amount of homophobia, and I made this remark when it initially broke, when iFly's, when this thing initially happened. There's a lot of homophobia in this community, like a lot of latent homophobia from a community that is, upper middle class, usually probably around there, usually well-off people or better off people. We're not talking, rich or filthy rich here, but just, typically better off people who tend to be more liberal. But despite that, there's a lot of people that are threatened by the mere possibility of homosexuality. Mm-hmm. Not that iFly Illini or anybody came out and said, I'm gay, whatever. Just even the possibility of homosexuality being present just brings out the utter worst of people. And it's sickening to see as, not only just as a, you're so, you want to think you're so advanced, but you're still so backwards that somebody being gay offends you personally. What the hell is wrong with you? And also that offense leads people to say some of the awful things that they do. And where does this, well, the community is very, very, has a definite liberal hue to it, but where does this homophobia come from?
I feel like it's just something to attack him on, like a point. Like, even though all he was doing was fapping on camera, somehow that relates to homosexuality. I don't know how they make that correlation, but they can't call him fat. They can't attack his race because he's white. What are you going to fucking say? Mm-hmm. So the only other card in the book is you're gay. I mean, what else is there to attack someone as a character?
Yeah, but
I don't really think
the
majority
vitriol
of those people
associated with it.
I don't think they've really got an issue with gay people. I want to say 60% of those people, but I feel like they attack in that manner.
Just to attack. Just to attack. They'll fly that flag of homophobe just to... Okay, that's logical.
And I don't even think it's really like homophobia. It's just the fact that like the word gay or fag or something is just... It's negative. It's not saying the actual being gay is negative, but it's come to
but there's a lot of
an insult.
I saw a lot of people say, you're gay, you're a fag, that's so gross, what's wrong with you? Like attacking him for being, that's homophobia. I mean,
You
not in
know.
a clinical sense where you're
Right.
afraid
Yeah.
of getting. No, I mean,
Right.
like
Yeah.
somebody's going to try to split
Against
that
it,
hair.
right.
Well, it's not a phobia, okay, but homophobia is an umbrella term. It's not a strict narrow. We're not using it in the narrow medical sense, but in terms of attacking and deriding people for being gay, I just found that odd that there were so many people without a thought, and maybe Chiz, you're right that speaks to not necessarily them being actively disliking homosexuals, but looking for anything to attack people with using the anonymity of the internet. And if that's the case, then that almost makes it worse to an extent.
Because I mean, look at like Optic Midnight. She gets some haze and whatnot, but not to the point of where iFly got hazed for in those comments made. And she actually is homosexual, and people accept her, and she's cool and nice and stuff, and people like her. So
Not everybody.
No, not everyone, of course. There's still going to be those outliers, and those are the people that fall under the homophobic umbrella. But they don't. And if people do want to attack her, that's what they pick to attack her, because she is that thing that
Even though they
differentiates
may
her.
not actually be, because there's homophobes who dislike her because she is gay, but then there's also people dislike and attack her because she's gay.
Right.
But there are people that attack her because she's gay, not because they're homophobes, but because they're just looking for anything to attack her.
Right.
And it's like if someone drops an N-bomb at someone, that person may not be a racist, but they know that is the word they can drop that'll cut the deepest to hurt that person, which is what they're trying to do.
But then what does that say?
That you're a dickhead.
But think about it. That no. It goes deeper than that, because think about what that says about the animal. That the second anonymity is provided, the second that the possibility of consequences becomes so far removed so as to be considered non-existent, the idea of consequence. When that happens, look at what people turn into.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
What was that roll in the head? What was wrong?
No, I was reading something else. It had nothing to do with what you were saying.
Oh, okay.
I was
Well,
reading-
because I thought, like, whoa, I'm offending Chiz.
Like,
Wow,
no,
my bad.
shit.
No, but that's makes me feel sickened inside to be associated with this species. We're not ready to do anything. If this is what happens when you say, look, there are basically no consequences for what you do. You can say anything you want, and this is the result. Ugh. That's just no. We need to stop going into space. We need to stop seeking out other intelligent life. We shouldn't meet them if this is what we are as an animal, as a species, as an intellect. We are not I mean, we're going to have to evolve before I give us the go ahead and start meeting other species and exploring our world around us in earnest.
I wanna
That's
meet other species.
what's that?
I still want to meet other species. I'm not a dick.
Right. I'm not a
Don't
dick either.
completely-
I'd go
just
be
don't
Would you go
forget.
be a Martian? Would you go live on Mars? Would you
No.
be one of those
No.
people?
In the
Try it
current
out?
state? No. What are you, fucking high?
What?
Seen pictures of Mars?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Well, of
It
course,
was-
it's a separate
Yeah.
planet. It's not an inhabitable planet for its
No.
own sake. We have to make it inhabitable.
It was
Of
funny,
course, yes.
It was funny. Rooster Teeth made a joke, like they were talking about that. Like, would you want to go be like, no? It's like, well, what about Mars, Instagram, or Facebook, or whatever? Like your whole timeline and feed would be from these 9 people, and it's like, look, found more red dirt. You know, that's all there is there.
Mhm.
I'm good. Really.
I would like just moving to like the Mojave or something. No thanks, I'm good.
It'd be like, and someone made this argument before, like, wow, what if you were or I might have even said, like, if you were the first vlogger from Mars, you would be huge because everybody would want to
Huge on YouTube.
Yeah,
Huge
you'd
on
be
YouTube.
huge. Yeah, on YouTube, and everybody want to watch your videos. And it's like, that's great, and I'm gonna make so much money. But what the fuck am I gonna do with all of that
Money that doesn't
on
mean
Mars?
anything. The
I
money
can't
that doesn't
buy anything.
But think of all the things you could do. If you're on Mars, you could live stream copyrighted music.
unless they just
Who?
cut my ties from the internet
Oh, yeah,
in
I
the
guess.
US.
But still, what is Disney going to do? I'm drawing Mickey Mouse and I'm profiting from. I got Martian dollars. We're trading this, rocks and stuff for my personal drawings of Mickey Mouse. Fuck you,
This guy found
Disney.
a bigger rock than me.
What are
He
you gonna
built a better
do?
dirt hut.
Yeah, what are you going to do, Disney? Your copyright only applies to the Earth.
I don't get why that has to be a one-way space trip, though. It's like, if you can get us there one time, why can you not come back?
Because you have to send the launch vehicle with, like, you have to build, it's essentially you have to build 2 launch vehicles. You've got to launch from Earth and then land on Mars, and then that, whatever you send there and land, has to also be a launch vehicle.
But why can't they just do it like what we did on the moon?
Because fuel.
Yeah, it's
Fuel's
so
a big
much
deal.
farther away.
It's stupid.
Fuel
Anyone
is a
who signs
huge
up
deal.
for that has nothing going in their life.
That's why the first, the external fuel tank for the space shuttle, the first one was painted white to match the solid rocket boosters. But after that, they realized how much it cost to lift just that paint, just in fuel costs, to lift that into space. And they were like, screw that. So the idea of, you've got to send, you've got, the container not only has to have, or the launch vehicle on Earth for the initial trip has to have the fuel to get it to Mars, but also has to have the fuel to get it back from Mars. And that extra fuel to get it back from Mars, you also have to lift, which necessitates more fuel.
Right.
So it's
You know what was a good Mars movie I just saw again the other day? I think it might just be called Mars, and I forget who's in it. But
please
it's,
not the Val
I know.
Kilmer one. Please not the Val Kilmer one.
Is it the Val Kilmer one? Let me see real
Where
quick.
there's like algae on Mars, and they have this rover that was there before. It's like some AI thing.
No,
okay.
no, not that thing. But I do know that one actually.
Awful movie.
Don't they? Isn't that the one where they come in and it inflates like whatever thing, their lem or whatever that they're gonna hit, and it inflates,
Yeah,
but
I
then the
think
bubbles
so.
break? I don't remember how that one went, but I know it didn't end well.
Well, no, that they were stranded and they were worried about oxygen, and then they found there's algae growing on Mars.
Exactly. That was stupid.
And there's oxygen there.
I found that one.
But
Or I
then
saw that one.
their little AI companion, their little machine companion went crazy.
Yeah, I remember that one now. No, the one I was talking about, I forget who was it. If you've seen the George and Lenny of Mice and Men movie, it's George in that, whoever that actor is, I can't remember. And it's the one where
The guy that got arrested for trying to hire a hitman to kill his wife? That guy?
No, I don't think so. But they go to Mars, and like one dude goes there and he gets stranded, but he ends up making like an ecosystem in his little bubble or whatever. So he manages to live there in his little bubble. But they go there and they find like a precursor, and it's like this story of where originally Mars was like Earth, and then something bad, like, meteors hit, so they all flew away with their genetic code. But then one spaceship went to Earth and was that, and it was this race, and the guy who found it, there was still a precursor person there, and he went in their spaceship and then flew to where all those other ones flew off to. It was like, whoa.
Okay, I just got an interesting tweet, #TNWYC, from this guy, this idiot named Jeff. He's only got 180 characters, but has still somehow proven to me that he's an idiot. He says, basically, so people can stop being assholes, we should let the NSA take away our anonymity? What kind of paranoid tinfoil hat do you have going on in your head? Where did I say anything about the NSA? What?
We don't have that much time to cover the NSA.
Where are you? You know what? That's imaginary podcasting. You are listening to an imaginary podcast, Jeff.
We did not say those things.
You're a dumbass. You're responding to voices in your head. We did not say that. I was just talking about the very fact that the animal, when granted anonymity, reverts back to its natural animalistic state, which Hobbes theorized was a war of all against all. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the evolution of the animal, not the anonymity itself. And I never even mentioned the NSA. Nobody did.
But even
moron.
if you did, like, you're not anonymical. I'm making up words now.
No,
from
that's a
NSA.
good word. You know what? Good word.
Yeah.
Anonymical.
You're not.
Wait, Katie, write that down.
You're not anonymous from the NSA. They're watching everything. Just because you use a fake username on YouTube doesn't mean they don't know who you are. It's the fucking NSA. So how does taking away anonymity say we're pro NSA or anything like that? It doesn't. The NSA is watching you. We could all use our public names and everything legal. I could say my name on YouTube. That's cool. Doesn't mean the NSA has any power over me. I don't know how you make that fucking correlation whatsoever. Those were leaps and bounds from anything discussed.
Yeah, that's my first interaction with imaginary podcasting. That's wow. What?
We should imaginary podcast more often.
Is our imaginary podcast good?
I don't know. Like it, and we'll find out.
Yeah. Like the imaginary pod, this video
to do
too.
that, you need to double like this one to get it into the realm of the hypothetical imaginary.
Yeah, you gotta like. He says, "Well, that had the desired effect. I know. I was just messing with you."
No, you weren't.
Though.
That
No,
is
you weren't.
not a
That's
statement.
that's
Everyone
no.
does that when they get called out or
Oh
something.
yeah, that's like I was just
joking.
playing. I was just playing. No, Jeff, you made a whoopsie.
That is the equivalency of getting banned on a forum back in the day and saying, I didn't really say those things. My brother got on my account and started posting those.
Oh yeah,
racist
the athletes, like when athletes say something really dumb, they're like, "Oh, my Twitter account was hacked."
Yeah,
Ugh.
dude. I left
Okay,
my phone
bro.
open.
Yeah.
You know? I was at a
No,
party and someone
Jeff,
got my
you made a whoopsie. You had a brain whoopsie. Just admit it. We'll all move on. It's okay. I make them. You make them. Everybody has. Just their brain just goes bleh once in a while.
Before we even made that statement in response to his second tweet, someone had tweeted him and said, "Yeah, right. Now you were just covering your ass." Before we even said those things.
Poor guy. It's okay. I mean, and that's
Hey,
a legitimate question.
Don't be butthurt, by the way, because the person we ripped into what was
For the
it?
professionalism thing?
Professionalism.
Yeah,
He's
that guy.
still around.
He's
okay?
still around. He's a good guy. We were just, that's our deal. We lampoon people. That's okay. It's fine. But, when you get called, when you say something dumb and somebody says, that's dumb. You're like, yeah, it's dumb. Not, I was just kidding. It's just a joke.
I didn't really mean it.
Because if it was really a joke, what you would have followed it up with was, LOL, ha ha ha.
An indicator that it was a joke.
Yeah. People
Hey,
saying,
yawning
what do
the
you...
man, I'm going to punch you in the face. Okay, I've seen it in the comments 5,000 times. You've tweeted it 5,000 times. We've had the same amount of viewers in here since we started. And Woody started streaming maybe 10 or 15, 20 minutes ago.
That's fine.
So no, he's not. And even if he was, big fucking whoop.
Okay. You know what? Actually, after the show, Woody streams Minecraft. If that's your deal, go check it out. It's Twitch.
We'll raid him, all right? When we're done here, we'll raid him, and you spam the chat with "That's not why you called" tags.
Yeah, spam Woody's chat with hashtag TNWYC after the show. What's the address? What is the address?
Just Woody's gamer tag.
Oh, twitch.tv/Woody's gamer tag. Also, while you're at Twitch, go check the description. Chiz has got a streaming channel that he streams to regularly. Oh, that's my question. I wanted to get people's advice about investing into live streaming, because Chiz and I were talking yesterday and today about Chiz has basically talked me into buying Saints Row 4 and streaming it. But I was breaking down the numbers of okay, well, what do I want to invest? I want to upgrade the RAM of my PC to 16 gigabytes of 2133. And that's the maximum allowable for my operating system, because I'm a genius and got Windows 7 Home Premium and not Windows 7 Professional or Ultimate. But I want to get 16 gigs, so that's $160 for that clock speed, which optimizes streaming, which is good for encoding video and stuff. And then Batman Arkham Origins is coming out, and I want to stream and do a Let's Play of that, so that's $49.99. Saints Row 4 is another $49.99. Battlefield 4 is going to be like $60 or $70, and that's coming out soon. Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to be another $60. And so, just adding up all these things, what am I going to have to invest to get my streaming game back up and running? And my question is, do I have the commitment? I don't know. I just want to get people's thoughts about, well, one, me live streaming video games again, and two, just general reinvesting in your business, right? Because that's the idea. Talk about. Companies do it all the time. We're reinvesting our corporate profits, blah, 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 blah. And we're reinvesting to bring you better products. How much is prudent to reinvest in your business? Because I think we did the math, Chiz, and it costs like what? Almost $300, $400 for all the stuff coming out in the next couple of months. $400, which I could do that now. I could go right now and buy everything and have it. Okay, now I have it. Well, is it reasonable? I don't know. So it was a quandary I was having.
So
we didn't do Thesaurus Corner. We got to do it before the show ends.
Oh,
Chiz, you go first.
Chiz,
Chiz, you go first. Ready?
Thesaurus Corner and stop. Oh, well,
Oh, well, I want to let you do the intro. Okay, all right, here we go again. Ready?
Thesaurus Corner.
Welcome to the Source Corner with Lefty. It's NPR. Chiz, you're up first. Ready? Go.
Stop.
Okay. Left or right panel?
Left.
Left. How many words?
Bottom 3.
3 from the bottom or the
Yes.
okay. Launch.
Jesus.
The verb. If you mean the verb launch, which means to initiate, you can also say originate, start, or get going. If you mean to send off when you use launch, you can say set in motion, propel, drive, thrust, fire off, send forth, or eject.
Eject.
Katie, do you want one?
Eject.
Sure.
You want to go on this train?
Sure.
All right.
Beat that. Taught me. I'm
All right, we're gonna go the other way. Ready?
Stop.
Damn, I was like, we're getting to the end here. All right, left or right
It's
page?
the index.
We're gonna go with left.
All right. How many words down from the top or bottom?
We're gonna go at the very top.
The first word at the top.
First
Oh,
word.
shit.
Oh, wow, you hit jackpot.
No.
Restraint. If you mean the noun, which means if you mean control over oneself, you can say control, self-control, reserve, reticence, constraint, withholding, caution, coolness, forbearance, silence, secretiveness, stress, repression, self-government, self-restraint, stiffness. Oh, God. Fucking Google Hangouts. Abstinence, self-denial, unnaturalness, self-repression, constrained manner, abstention, self-discipline, self-censorship. Or, in the end, antonym of that, or antithesis, laziness, slackness, laxity. If you mean an influence that checks or hinders, when you say restraint, oh yeah, there's more. You can say repression, deprivation, limitation, hindrance, reduction, abridgment, decrease, prohibition, confinement, check, barrier, obstacle, obstruction, restriction, bar, curb, blockade, order, command, instruction, coercion, impediment, compulsion, duress, force, violence, deterrence, determinant, discipline, assignment, definition, moderation, not modernation, tempering, qualifying, and the antithesis, freedom, liberty, license. This has been
Fuck
the
that.
Source Corner.
I think that
Fuck
made
that.
up for my last
There you go.
Shitty.
Yeah, the last couple ones have been
I think that made up.
pretty bad.
2-1. This is a weekly game, and we go against each other. She's good. You fucking nailed that one out of the fucking park. That went on for like 2 minutes. Mine was like 4 words. What's happening? I was like, yeah, launch. It's gonna be great. It's like 5 words. She's got a half a paragraph.
Yeah, it was like almost like a third of the page.
God.
Was that? So that's a perfect way to end. That's not why you
But
called
no,
another.
you have to give them the poll.
What poll?
Saints Row 4, should you get it?
Oh
And
yeah,
should
Saints
you-
Row 4. Should I get it and or invest in live streaming? So let us know in the comments. If you're watching this VOD after you like and favorite the stream, go ahead and let us know in the comments what you think. You can also tweet us #TNWYC. As always, there are links in the description for everybody here. Check out the TNWYC subreddit. There's also a link there. We got to get out of here. Go to twitch.tv/Woody's Gamertag. If you're interested in Minecraft, spam TNWYC hashtags. Let them know that I'm
I'll
sending
be in there
him some
looking,
viewers.
so you better be
Yeah,
there.
Chiz will be there.
Yeah.
Let Woody know that I do contribute a little bit of something, even though I'm not up
Spam
there
it
with
right
the
now.
Titans
I'm in
that are
there
on
too.
that are on PKA. Anyway, thank you guys for joining. We hope you enjoyed. We will be back next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time or Daylight Time, right here. Thank you guys for joining. We hope you enjoyed. We are out. Peace.
Shiitake mushrooms!
Nice.